afternoon. Did a hand up? You didn't get your hand. That's me last week in regards to the gods of the Canaanites, and certainly something to be think about. Who were the major gods of major false gods according to the Old Testament? And so I thought I'd go this out real quick before we get into the text. If the following are descriptions of some major false gods of the Old Testament, one thing we need to remember is that the gods of various, in many cases, the god of one nation, also the god of another nation. Many times they would personalize this god. They would take, for example, he was the national god of the Moabites, but also worshipped by the Ammonites. In many cases, the name would be changed. They would alter that name to more fit language that was being spoken by the people that were serving the God. Look through, if you ever do a study of the false gods of the Old Testament, if you do that, you might find there are so many different names. Many of those are different names for the same God. Okay? Something in regards to the worship of false gods. They were different names from different groups of people, even just regionally have a different name for them. So something to keep in mind when you look at some of the gods that we see throughout the Old Testament, it's the same way that the Romans and the Greeks had their own pantheons. They would have a chief god, right? And the god for one would be Zeus, and that would make perfect sense. For another group, it would be something else. For one group, it would be Hades. For another group, it would be something that again. So something to keep in mind when you look at these different names that were being used by different nationalities. So, just excuse me, just to go through this real quick. The Ashtoreth, also called Astarte or Ashtoreth, it's plural. This goddess was fertility and maternity. Word Ashtoreth was strong at Sinai. She was sometimes called a consort or opinion of Baal. Not the equivalent, but what would be the closest we would consider the wife, so to speak. King Solomon worship, which is his downfall. Ashtoreth were symbolized by poles or tall stumps of things. Basically, the poles, many times they were in certain ways. You'll see that carried over. Very, very, very interesting that the false gods of the Old Testament are being used into the New Testament, and even told into not that far back in our neighborhood, even European. Maple, seen maples where you have a pole up there, and you've got the ribbons and the dance. Something was done in the British Isles, even they were paganism as far back as the 1200s, 1300s. This was done that far back. So this was not something that exclusively in the Old Testament. This is something that was brought forward and pushed forward. People have always wanted to worship. Worship. Unfortunately, most of the time that was not true. You would find something to worship. That was connected with fertility and maternity. So with those things, you can see where some of the worship behavior. The idea about fertility is a very strong one in the old world. Families need to have lots of children. Crops need to be abundant. Crop cycle can spell devastation for a family, for a nation, for a region. And when that would happen, you them going overboard in the future to make sure that didn't happen. It would even further from the Ashtoreth that there would not be a season for crops again. And then what would be inevitable, that's just the nature of nature, right? There are always going to be bump crops. Sometimes there's going to be rain going to fall near as much. We look at it we should understand that that's just the way that the world works. It would be an opportunity or impetus to go overboard in worshiping this Ashtoreth going forward. Sometimes that would be, in some cases, you would find temples were dedicated to the Ashtoreth. There would be cult prostitution, where you would find men or women engaged in cult prostitution in these temples, where you would go and you would engage in sexual relations with these cult prostitutes. That was part of your worship. They considered that worship. And you can understand why God would be so incensed by this behavior. God said, and we are to be with one another, men and women. You're supposed to be just one, and only just to one person. Harlot is un. So he would be absolutely against at this kind of behavior. And it would be found, but unfortunately, of course, Israel fell into this as they get engaged in culture. They were supposed to display the name of Canaan. All right. So this is one of them. The next one is Baal. And if you go through some words that we find in the Old Testament, you can find where this is oftentimes added to something that didn't know, as for Jeroboam. That was Gideon's. It was given to him by his father after he ordered on to Baal. In this case, Baal strives. All right, Gideon strove with Baal toward his altar, so they changed his name to Jerubbaal. All right, so Baal, sometimes Baal, was the god among the Canaanites. He was worshipped in forms, but often as a sun god or a storm god. Now, why would that be the case? Crops, right? Storm. We need rain. We need those things. We're not going to have a crop. All right. So for God, supposedly bear children. So rights with Baal were included again cult prostitution and sometimes human sacrifice. Human sacrifice come in when they felt that Baal had not served enough. He was not giving them enough sun and enough rain for the crops, or had a time where women were not having enough children. That they believed that they had failed in some way. So many times it's interesting that they offer up children because they weren't having enough children, which is absolutely true. But again, you're talking about people who are worshiping the true God. God, this kind of practice was absolutely think of God. You don't sacrifice a human being. He told him, he said, if you're not careful, you're going to fall into this. You see where this happens with the Israelites. The importance of bringing their worship was really emphasized and even commanded by the Canaanite rulers. You would find temples to build all over Canaan at that particular point in time when the Israelites came in to displace. And if you remember at the very beginning, he said, when you go in, you're to tear down these temples. You're to tear down these shrines. You're to tear down all the remnants of these people that live there before you, their false worship. You're to tear down those things so that they don't become a snare to you. If you leave them alone, they're beautiful to look at, you admire the architecture or it's somewhere or something. If you leave those up, if you allow them to remain standing, they will be a snare to you. That's what happened. They did not tear down the temples. It was very easy for the people to be swayed, pulled into. Let's be honest. We human beings today, are we plated by sex? Yeah, it's something that pulls us. It's something that's attractive to us in many ways. And if you think about how Canaanites worship these gods, there's been something that would have been very, very, they would have been very curious about. Even if they were not engaging yet, they're very curious about what kind of religious rites that went into the deity. For too long, you would find them pulled into part of the work is that I go to a temple and sexual relations with someone that's not wife. Now, for most people, that would not be a big issue, but for people who are weak, that's something that's going to be a draw. That's going to pull them in. You think about Hannah wanted a child. It would have been very simple to say, what do I need to do to have this child? I want a child. I'm begging for a child. I'm desperate for a child. I don't think God remembers me. It was very short to say, in order for me to do this, I'm trying to behave because I want to so badly. Husband's like, I'm better than a child can do. So to be for the father of Jehovah, well, Jehovah's not listening to me. He hasn't answered me. Why hasn't he answered me? But God says if I go and do this, then it's going to happen for me. Well, we know that it's not going to, but it's certainly wrong. So there's the problem. All right. Of course, about the famous showdown between the prophets of Baal and Elijah, Mark Paul. The idea that these people they would worship Baal and tail him. They cheated. And this was not a prayer of supplication. This was just a monotonous over again, saying the same thing over and over again, mantra. So worshiping Baal was a reputation for the Israelites, and we see that all the way through the book of Judges and even in the book of Kings and Chronicles, where especially the northern worship, it never left in worship. It continued on in worship of these false gods. Different regions paid homage to their own local variety of so this worship versus the group on the shore versus the group in the mountainous country, whatever it might be. But all worship, and we need to remember this, all worship of this false god infuriated God. Every bit of it, no matter who to do, the purpose was behind it all infuriated God. And we need to remember that worship anything other than Him infuriates Him. And He punished Israel for faithfulness to Him, for sure. It says here that Balak was the wife of Baal. All right, so he had a concern as well. Next, Chemosh is a bear. The national god of the Moabites, also worshipped by the Ammonites. And it's involved in worship to be cruel, may involve human sacrifice. This was the method of you would offer up sacrifices of captives, slaves of other nations. You would bring these people forward, and you would scourge them, you would whip them, you would torture them, you would put them into your. And when that works, you may even have to dip in the gene pool. You may have to get people from the area. Excuse me. When the king Saul directed the altar to Chemosh, for that Nabal outside Jerusalem, the hill of corruption. So, as Moshe worshipped Ashtoreth, he worshipped Chemosh as well. And it was due to the idolatrous influence of the wives he took from the other nations. He remained faithful to his own people. His mind would have been they were. Next, Dagon, king of the Philistines. He had the body of a human head and hands and statues. Dagon was a god of water and of grain. We know that his death at the temple of Dagon pulled with everything that was after the God-given just a last message in that temple. Dagon there. First Samuel 5, after the Philistines captured the Ark of the Covenant, they in their temple next to Dagon, the statue was toppled forward. They set it back upright, of course, and it was on the floor, but with the head and the hand broken off. Of course, no message. You my ark, place where I dwell, where I come and be with my people, next to this idol, this false god, so to speak. He said, "How dare you do that?" So what did he do? He tore down their and laid it waste. And finally realized that day, we need to get rid of the ark. There's nothing trouble. There's nothing that we can do for this. We keep it here because he's damaging our God. Now, why didn't they understand this and say, maybe we look at this Jehovah? Instead, they decided to get rid of the Ark of the Covenant and send it back, of course, to David. Saul's armor in the temple, hung his severed head in the temple. Shaul was the wife of Dagon. All right. Next, Marduk is the king of the Babylonians. And of course, again, the worship of the Babylonians worked its way westward toward Canaan. They certainly worship of Marduk, different names, different group of people. It was associated with fertility and vegetation, where you can see that would be very hey, we need crop, we need to we need more food. Food's not forthcoming, so what do we need to do? We need to worship, and we go over whatever it is we need to do. That's what we've got to do, and that's what they do. This confusion says confusion about the name God, because 50 names, including Bel. So we see here, Bel and Marduk could possibly have been the same God, but it was tailored towards the group of people that were worshiping him at any given time. The Assyrians and the Persians. This was on the Israelites after the fact. Many years into the future, they were still dealing with God of the Babylonians. All right. Last, Milcom, the Ammonites, was associated with divination, seeking out the future through occult means, something, of course, God strongly to. But that's not what you're to do at all. If you want to know anything, you ask me. You don't go to the seers, the witches. You ask me, I'll give you the truth. I'll give you the real answer. Child sacrifice was sometimes connected with Milcom. He was the false god by Solomon, close of his reign. Solomon had really gone into apostasy, hadn't he? Worshipping just about everything, all because of that influence. And we see here that Molech and Molech were variations of this false god. Of course, we know about the worship of Molech and the sacrifices that went along, especially for children. And lest anybody think that that's not the case, they have uncovered urns with burned children's bones underneath the places where this worship is supposed to be happening. So this is not just something we think about. We've had rumors of this is something that's been proven to be the case. All right. Excuse me. Anybody got any questions? You got to remember that these are just an exhaustive list by any means. Their belief is that the gods could basically exist. If you were a fisherman, for example, you would want a god that had to do with the fish, and the crop that you would receive from the sea. If you were a farmer, you were this type of god, the god that would assure you of a bounteous harvest. Whatever it is you were, you sought out a god that was tailored towards you. And it wasn't that these gods necessarily were in competition with one another; they coexisted in the pantheon. But if you look at the backstory that these people created for these gods, it's like a soap opera. I mean, it really is. Just look and say it came up with how they came to be. Gods would fight against each other. One would cast one down and raise one up. And would have a manner of all the things going on. Really in-depth stories to all of these gods. Of course, we know that there's nothing to all of this. There's nothing to any of this. These were stories that were created by and for gods. God not here to But these are just if you want to go online. There's plenty of information. And these are widely acknowledged archaeological findings have established these things. This is not something that's just a rumor. These things that they found in antiquity, temples and frescoes and statues and shrines and all of these things. So all the evidence is for all of this. So take a look. Very interesting. Yes. You had priests, these gods. You had the prostitutes, gods. You had people that are devoted to the service of these gods. And that service some people just were in charge of keeping temples. And in the understanding of the janitors. They swept floors and all the stone. There were priests who were in charge of sacrifice, whatever that sacrifice may be. Not all of these gods blood thirsty. God's point. Bloodthirsty is bad enough. The fact that you're worshiping anybody other than me, that's a problem. That's the point. That's my problem with this. Worship any God besides me. If you did have out all the inhabitants, that there would be a snare, and it came to pass. Those things. You think about the forms of the worship, and how much of a draw would be, how curious the people would be. It's very interesting how our curiosity gets the better of us. You think about what draws people to look at certain things. What draws a young boy to look at pornography? It's in some ways a little bit dangerous. It's a little bit forbidden. God hates it, but there's something about seeing something that's just new and interesting and exciting, and then all of a sudden you find yourself involved. I dare say that the people didn't just lockstep into the temple and begin to worship these false gods. They saw their neighbors that shouldn't have been there, shouldn't have even been living with them. They saw their neighbors continue to go down to these temples. And they saw what they were doing, and they heard rumors about how they worshiped and what they did. And before long, you find the Israelites kind of walking down, maybe standing outside looking in, what's going on there? And they hear these tales, these stories, and before too long, not standing at the door anymore. They're inside and they're sitting on the back pew, so to speak. I just want to see what was going on. You know that the people there were, oh, come on in. Come in. Come on in. Well, I'm just curious. I got a problem. I wonder if there's any. Well, what's the issue? My wife has been wanting to have children. We can't have children. We don't know what's going on. We prayed to our God, but He hasn't answered us. Well, yeah, we can do something with that. And then they all of a sudden prescribe some pagan, idolatrous means of getting by seeking from somebody other than God. Now, the interesting thing is that is less than capable of giving you what you're after. Nothing. God is useless. He is impotent. He has no power whatsoever. But that's not going to stop somebody who's hearing something new, something interesting, something strange, and it's a draw. Our curiosity gets hold of us, and there we are. And now we're in the middle of it. God told them that was going to happen. He warned them. He warned them from before the time they brought them into the land of Canaan. He said, "Now, when you go in, do not be dissuaded from your task. Make sure that you go in, and as you go in, I'm going to have them out before you, but then you're going to have some work to do. You're supposed to get rid of their temples, get rid of their shrines, pull down their Ashtoreth, get rid of all of that. Don't leave any of it remain. If you remember, even before you brought them into Canaan, before I bring you in there, you get rid of all of those household idols that you brought out of the land of Egypt. Don't look surprised. I know you've got them in your stuff. You got to get rid of all those things. To pull you away from me." Now, we look at what kind of lesson does that teach us? What kind of lesson does that hold for us today? What holds us from God? That's the difference. Every person in here has got something a little bit different that pulls us from God. Whatever that might be. It could be a music we listen to, that we watch, or the people that we associate with. It could be the job that we have. It could be, listen, everybody's got something, work for me, it work for you, then vice versa. So the point is that God wanted them to do what? Get rid of anything that would keep them from following Him fully. And not to leave anything undone He told them to do. And he warned them what would happen if they did not do it. If you do not do this, it's going to come back. It's going to bite you. It's going to bite you hard. You away from me. And then when it pulls you away from me, I'm going to reject you as my people. Nothing's changed, has it? I mean, even today, we got to get rid of the stuff that keeps us away from God. You don't reject it. And sometimes it takes some pretty bold steps, doesn't it? I mean, sometimes I think maybe more bold than we're willing to do. You know, we may even begin to justify it to ourselves. I don't think God really want me to get all of this. You know, I think if I just did this and this, it would be okay. Here's the problem. When the people of Israel didn't do all that God told them to do, what happened? And it didn't well for them. It turned out well. Okay? So when we look at something, we realize that this thing that we've got going on in our lives is what's keeping us from being totally 100% reliant and dependent and in lockstep with God. What we got to get rid of it. Sometimes it takes something that it takes action we didn't think we would have to do. I think we'd have to go that far. Okay. All right. That's this. We're going to get into something else. Anybody got any questions about this? All right. So let's go to Judges chapter 8. That's where we left off this last time. We know that Gideon has absolutely routed the men of Midian. I mean, he absolutely, and all they had to do was get out their torches, get out their trumpets, get the fool out of Midianite, around, kill their own people. He did all this with only 300 people. So it's not even that you needed 300 warriors, you needed 300 people. Just to show that we're dependent on Him. You know, we weren't relying on numbers, we were relying on Him. All right? So, in chapter 8, the men from Ephraim said to him, "What is this that you have done to us? Not to call us when you went to Midian, weren't they? Why didn't you call us? Did you think we weren't capable?" You know, some people just want to be offended. They just want to be offended. Why didn't you call us? Was there something? Did we do something to you? Have we offended you in some way? Not that we're capable. Whatever the reason was. But he says that they accused fiercely. So this was a simple matter of sarcastic. They were really pulling forth with Gideon. You know, why didn't you say something to us? You know, we could have resisted. Gideon diffuses the situation. He said to them, "What have I done in comparison with you?" He's basically giving them the glory. "What have I done in comparison with you? Gleaning of grapes of Ephraim better than grape harvest of Azar? God has given into your hands the princes of Midian, or the sea. What have I been able to do in comparison with you?" So he stroked their ego a little bit, and now the situation is which is good. What does it say about blessed are the peacemakers, right? Scripture tells us that. Sometimes to swallow, it would have been very easy for Gideon to say, "Where are you? Why didn't you do something?" Gideon, being the level-headed fellow that he is, instead says, "I'm in peace." I wish more people just instead of taking the opportunity to Gideon, which they feel entitled to do, would simply just be a peacemaker. So how better is it, instead of saying, "Well, I'm entitled to say what I want to say, and it may hurt some feelings." Instead, establish peace between me and my brother. You know, I might have to swallow my pride. Okay? I might have to lower myself. I might have to step back and let him take the... At the end of the day, which is better? Which is better? To live in strife with somebody, but be right. And about right. Or to live peaceably with my brother. Which is better? It's better. It's always better. I tell you, I don't know about you guys, but I've been a member of a couple of congregations where it seemed like there was strife. Okay, and it wasn't something. I heard something. It's almost open, internecine warfare thing. Let me tell you, it's a difficult thing to be part of a congregation. They're open. It's difficult, and it makes worshiping difficult, which is a horrible thing. God doesn't want our worship to be hindered by anything. Sometimes it's just to be a peacemaker. Allow peace to reign. They walk away thinking, well, I've persevered in this. That's fine. Rather go in peace. Peace. Okay. I've sent back. I'm not listening. I'm not hurt by this. And then I've had people, why didn't you say something? Why? Yeah, but you let them win. No, not really. Not really. I won. Because I don't have, I went to them. There's to be people between the two of us. We're going to get along. I can go to them and I need to say to them because we're dwelling peaceable together. Gideon understands, and he makes it very clear to the people of Ephraim. It says, then their anger against him subsided when he said this. Okay, now, his side, he established them as allies in his fight. And Gideon came to the door over he and the 300 men who were with him still got those things, right? God pulled them out of the group. They're still with him. He hadn't lost a single man. They hadn't even drawn their sword yet. He said to the men of Scarborough, very interesting. This thing that's related to us, I think is important. The idea that if you're not fighting with us, you're fighting against us. If you're not with us, you're against us. So he said to the men of Scarborough, please, Lord, people who follow me, exalted and the kings of Midian. The officials of Succoth said, are the hands of Zebah and Zalmunna already in your hand that we give bread to your army? So basically, one of the most important principles of part of the world broken by these men of Succoth, that is that of hospitality. Take care of people who are in need. It's kind of interesting that he uses this particular time, that God uses this particular instance to bring this lesson forward to us. He said, did not be hospitable. I mean, they're tired, they're hungry, they need something from you, and they say, what? They need anything. Instead of, well then, I made peace with people, we're not a problem. But then when the Lord has given Zebah and Zalmunna in the hand, I will flail your flesh with the thorns of the wilderness and with the fires. For he went to Penuel and spoke to them in the same way to Penuel as the men of Succoth had answered. He said to the Penuel, he said to the men, when I come again in peace, I will break down this tower. So he made two pretty long accusations to these men of Penuel and men of Succoth. They were not hospitable. They were not aiding the men of God on their journey. All right. If you're against us, this is a lesson that we're going to get from this. So he said, Zebah would call over their army, about 15,000 men, all left of all the army of the people of Israel. They followed 120,000 men through the river. So is this a pretty decisive victory for God? Probably the biggest victories that we read about in the Testament. 120,000 men had fallen by the sword. And Gideon went up the way of the tent dwellers east of Nob and Jogbathah, and army. They were letting their guard. They were good about that. And they went up there and they struck against them. And Zebah and Zalmunna fled, and he pursued them and captured the two king's men and fell into a panic. Makes perfect sense. God, it wasn't enough that they defeated them where they were. He had to defeat them in totality. He was going to eliminate the beast. And I cut off the monster. He captures the two kings, and the army goes into a panic. We have to defeat them. All right? Here's the beauty of having God at the head of the army. You can't defeat him. You can't trim. He's all in charge. You never have to worry about it. The devil can never stand a force in the battle. But what if your king is killed? What if your king is captured? What happens then? Well, God flies into a panic. What do we do now? But if God goes for us in the battle, we don't have to worry. There's always a game plan. Okay? The Midianites ran from the battle by the descent of Herod, and he captured Succoth and questioned him. And he found for him those soldiers of Succoth, 77 men, and he came to the men of Succoth and said, Behold, Zebah and Zalmunna, about whom you taunted, set the hand of Zebah and Zalmunna in your hand, that we should rid your men exhausted. He took the elders of the city and the wilderness and briars, and with them taught the men of Succoth a lesson. So what did he do? Exactly what he promised. He was going to scourge them. He took of that city, and he took fire, and he scourged them. Literally scourged them. He's going to teach them. When I come in and say the name of God to do something, you do it. You don't for your obedience or not. Especially the idea of hospitality. The idea of hospitality is essential. If somebody needed food, you fed them food. I talked at lunch today, Abigail, and her husband, how wicked he was when David simply would greet them in. They were hungry, they were tired. He says, I want you to give them food. And this wicked husband, Abigail, and it did not go well for the husband of Abigail at all for him. All right, you take care of those who are serving. That's essentially the point behind it. Right? And then he broke down the tower of Penuel and killed the men of the city. Right? So we see what's happened. This has been an absolute rout, an absolute victory into totality for God. The enemies of God, the enemies of Israel, also the enemies of God, have been routed and destroyed, broken in two. They're no longer a threat, and he returns victorious, right? Knowing that, of course, it wasn't him. It was God in charge. Allowed him for the victory. He delivers a crushing blow to the Midianites, and he comes back home. All right. Now, here we're going to get to in verse 2, chapter 8. It's kind of a little side story, but I think it's one that kind of gives us a very clear lesson. All right, how it is that we can go from our high to low. Gideon, rule over us. You and your son and your grandson also. They're ready to make you king. I didn't make a king, but we're ready to make you king, a genuine king. You were saved from the hand of Midian. And Gideon said, still thinking wisely, he says, I will not rule over you. My son will not rule over you. The Lord will rule over you. Smart man. Again, thinking very limited. You don't need me. What you need is God. God deliver you from the Midianites. God deliver you from anything. For him to rule over you. God will rule over you. And then Gideon said to them, let me request of you. Every one of you give me the earrings from his spoil. For they had golden earrings for their Ishmaelites. And they answered, we will willingly give them. So I'm not asking for a kingship. And I'm asking for some of the spoil. We were willing to give them the cloak, and every man threw in the earrings of his spoil. And the weight of those golden earrings they requested was 1,700 shekels of gold, besides the crescent ornaments, pendants, and the purple garments worn by the kings of Midian, and besides the collars that were around the necks of their camels. As they destroyed this army of Midian, they ransacked the dead. That's perfectly normal. And we think about that, how that is. No, it's perfectly normal. These people took a lot of gold on those. Many of those around their camels' necks had giant gold crescents around their camels' necks. This was spoil, right? It was to the who were victorious. So as they had faced this army, and as they defeated it, they were taking things from the dead. As they were killing these Midianites. Quite a bit. 1,700 shekels of gold is no small amount. That's a long amount. Now, he didn't simply take that and go home with his spoil, though, did he? Here's the problem. Made a miraculous and made an ephod of it and put it in the city. Now, an ephod, if you look, remember when we talked about uh, uh, when it discussed how things were to be made for the priest, the idea was that plate. All right? And in cases it was an ephod. In some cases we see there was some sort of metal involved in the ephod, this plate. All right, and we had one worn. The best here, this is not one that would be worn, one that would be carried. Now, here's the problem. Look at what it says right after that. And all Israel poured after it. It became a snare to Gideon and his family. Now, there are different ways that we can think of this. We just see where Gideon was taking somehow the power of being like the priest to himself. But when we think about the idea of, and let's just say that it was a breastplate, pretty heavy, something that would be worn, but something that he carried. Now, how is it that people would hover after it? If hover means, in this case, it's spiritual adultery. Or, I'm sorry, adultery. It is idolatry, but it's spiritual adultery. Okay. But it was rejecting God in favor of this that he had made for himself, his family. How would that be the case? What would involve in that? How could they do like that? And let me ask you this, because he said, remember, he said God is going to rule over. He not, excuse me, not rejected God. He had said God no longer care. People did, and it could be that this was an instance for them to worship something that God had done for them rather than to worship God. Remember when remember. Remember what was made. There were two things Bethel and Dan. You got the all right. But remember what was said. Remember what was said to the people. Here is your God. It wasn't that this is Jehovah. He wanted them to worship Jehovah. He wanted them to go to Jerusalem because he was worried they would come back. This is your God. What he had done was he urged them to worship Jehovah. He was urging them to worship acceptably in a false way. But the same way, I believe, with this ephod that Gideon made, he was the people worshiping God. The problem was, the best plans, right? Even when we do something with good intentions, when we do something false, but good intentions, what difference does that make? The differences that make. Is God like that? No. I don't care if you want to worship me or not. You don't worship that. I don't care if I'm at the heart of worship. That doesn't matter. You're worshiping me incorrectly. You have something ahead of me. All right? You need something to worship me. You're not that. But it did that all Israel. So this was the people were from all over to worship at this golden ephod. That was not the purpose. That was not the reason behind it. All right? He had no right making it. Had no right to make that. And he certainly as people they would hold themselves to that golden ephod, he had a responsibility to hold. You wonder what people are thinking sometimes. You wonder why. Because Gideon, by all accounts, was a fairly intelligent person. Right? He believed in God. He worshiped God. He had torn down the Baal in his father's town. So we know this is a man who served God, worshiped God. But it could be that this was a place that it magnified him. You know, people were coming to his town. They were coming to his place. They were worshiping something that he had made. And it could be that he caught up in his own ego. You know, I don't know. Why do I see people who have been faithful members of the Lord's church who get away by their ego being put on a pedestal that they're high. We have to be careful that we don't have people. Yep. Right. Right. This is a very movie. Remember where they came from. This was made from the souls of people they destroyed. Where it came from. So this was a perfect opportunity even to say, you see this great victory that God gave us. Well, unfortunately, as we've seen throughout the scriptures, it didn't call for people to grasp hold of anything. That's what it is. They worship anything. I see people do that even today. There are people engaging in worship of something rather than, hey, accepting it and understanding and appreciating it for what it is. They begin to almost worship it. It's very dangerous. Okay, we have to be careful that we don't find ourselves engaging that or the right. I lost my train of thought. Anyway, this is what happened. What happened? He has made a boatload of gold from the captured men and the destroyed men. He's made this thing, and now it is before just a simple memorial of worship. And that it could be that they came. It was time for them to engage in some sort of battle. They would come and they would worship. It doesn't matter, does it? Even if they were preaching to a God for a victory in their conquest, the fact they were worshiping at this gold and whatever it was unacceptable to them. And it is that, and Israel hoard after it. They became heir to Gideon and his family. So apparently, even Gideon and his family got caught up in this thing. They brought this thing to be, and now it's become clear to them as well as the nation of Israel. I mean, it says the entire nation of Israel hoard after it. So problem. So Gideon, Gideon, I believe that it's hard Gideon who wanted to worship God, but it just goes to show that even the very best of us get caught up in behavior that's unacceptable to God. You have to be careful of that. All right. We'll stop there. Is there anybody want to add? And next week we're going to get into Abimelech, that worthless fellow, and the destruction that upon Abimelech. Anybody got anything they want to add? Anything they want to throw in there? All right. We have a invitation. Is there anyone who needs to partake of communion? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we get finished. If you take a seat, we'll have communion to the parental take this morning. 772 is our song of invitation. Everybody hearing with me? So go to the doctor. We're just going to show up. Talk to my secretary. I do too. feel that bad, but I'm kind of bearing I'm kind of fog a little bit. So if you think I'm acting a little strange, that's probably what it is. But I appreciate everybody's well wishes. Enough of these this morning asked me to do the doctor, so I better do something. But if there's nothing else anybody wants to add, I have a song of invitation, and we pray for Brett this morning and he's having his health. We're certainly glad to do that, happy to do that. We want to do that, and we want to pray for anybody who might need prayer. If we pray for us, and we want you to please tell us what's going on. Something we can do for you. Just know while we stand and while we sing.